Deadline's coming up.
On TikTok, we have a lot of potential buyers. There's tremendous interest in TikTok. The decision is going to be my decision, as you know, through Congress. They've given me the power to make the decision. We have a great team of people essentially taking bids. We have a lot of people that want to buy TikTok. We're dealing with China also on it because they may have something to do with it, and we'll see how that goes.
If no deal, will you extend the deadline?
Well, there'll be a deal with TikTok. I'm pretty sure. We would.
President Trump speaking with reporters yesterday on Air Force One about the Saturday deadline for TikTok to divest its U.S. operations or face a ban in the U.S. The president floating the idea to reduce Chinese tariffs to push Beijing toward a deal, signaling a possible extension to that deadline as well. Joining me right now is O'Leary Ventures Chairman Kevin O'Leary. And Kevin, you have offered to buy the app yourself. Thanks so much for being here this morning. Where are you on this bid? Have you heard a response?
Well, the president's right. There's a lot of interest. Frank McCourt and I, who put the syndicate together, Project Liberty, to buy TikTok, are waiting the outcome, like all the others are, from Xi. This is a company that has a golden share in it, where the government of China, notably Xi, decides what he's going to do. Obviously, Trump is trying to coax a decision out of him by offering tariff points. And Trump is right. You know, a single tariff point is probably worth more than TikTok. But we don't have any indication yet, any of the buying groups, that Xi has decided what he wants to do. The anticipation is that we'll get an extension on Saturday because there's no question there are people interested in buying TikTok. I think the difference with McCourt and I is we are preparing for the eventuality, looking at the law and talking. And I'm in Washington right now, Maria. I mean, if you want to find out the status of lawmakers' views on TikTok, you just have to go to Cafe Milano and hang out there for an hour and a half, and you're going to get an earful from everybody of their opinion. And so at the end of which I did last night, there's a lot of lawmakers that want to see this asset completely disentangled from the Chinese code and ByteDance completely. So the interpretation of what the law says is key. Looming over that, as you're well aware, is $5,000 a day per user penalty. There is no company in the S&P 500 that could last more than 11 days without being bankrupt with that penalty. So we're trying to balance all this out. My attitude is, and I can speak for Frank on this one, we're here to help. Look, we'll work a deal any way we can, and if we're told we cannot use the source code or ByteDance can't be an owner or whatever Trump and Xi decide, we're going to work with that.
But how do you ensure that if you don't have the source code, if you don't have a ByteDance, that you are going to have the same product, but you don't have the Chinese surveillance, propaganda, and everything else that comes with TikTok?
Well, you have to write it from scratch, and that's been done before. You got to remember, Microsoft rewrote Skype from scratch. There's AI models now that can assist you to do that. Look at Instagram Reels. It's getting better every week. These models learn. I think you can actually start from scratch if you had to and keep all of the 7 million businesses that are using TikTok afloat, which is really my motivation, Maria. I'm an advocate for small business. We use this product every single day. It's 60% of our digital spend. Nobody wants it turned off. Whatever it takes, we'll figure it out. That's my whole point. We got to work with Oracle. They got the servers right now. There's enough elements in place, enough people interested, a syndicate large enough to work this out. We just have to find out what Xi wants to do. And Trump knows that, and he's doing everything he can to get him to the table right now. Now, the other alternative, which nobody wants, is what happened in India in 2020. Xi just shut it off. That's not a good outcome for anybody. But you got to remember, in the context of ByteDance globally, this asset's only about 9% of the value. So the shareholders there, you know, if that happens to them, okay, it's a loss of $20, $30 billion. I get it, but it's not the end of the free world for them.
President Trump, meanwhile, spoke with the new Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney, last week. I want to get your take on this. Kevin, he posted about the meeting. He said it was an extremely productive call. We agree on many things, and we'll be meeting immediately after Canada's upcoming election to work on elements of politics, business, and all other factors that will end up being great for both the United States of America and for Canada. The call, of course, came after Carney bashed Trump and his tariffs earlier in the day. Watch this.
We will fight the U.S. tariffs with retaliatory trade actions of our own that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impacts here in Canada. The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperation, is over.
What do you think, Kevin? It certainly feels like Canada and the U.S.'s relationship has changed in a big way. We did a story earlier in the show about how Canadians are selling real estate in Florida right now.
The anti-U.S. rhetoric is being stirred up by Carney because his party
that's right.
devastated the country over the last 10 years. And the only way he can stay in power is to convince people he's the solution against Trump. So the rhetoric has never been hotter. And of course, he's 5 weeks away from an election. So he'll stir the pot any way he can. But let's not forget where Carney came from. He is a global elitist. He's a supporter of carbon taxes. He said he'll remove them from consumers, but he's going to double down on business in Canada. And that decimated. You got to remember, Canada actually only grew under the Liberal Party 1.4% in 10 years. The economy's been wiped out. One of the reasons Canadians can't go to Florida is his party wiped out the value of the dollar, down 41%. Canadians can't afford to go to Disneyland anymore. So Carney's doing it the very best he can to say, look, I will save you against Trump. And he throws the rhetoric out every day against him, a man named Pierre Poilievre, who's also trying to be elected as a conservative. They're both in a crazy rhetoric, an anti-American rhetoric, that will go away the minute this election's over. He will get on a plane, whoever wins, fly to Washington, and start working on what I call NAFTA 3, which is the right thing to do. I might add that Senator Kennedy in Louisiana gave an eloquent presentation about why tariffs between Canada and the United States should be zero. I listened to it. It made a whole lot of sense to me, and I think it'll make a lot of sense to the Canadian people as well as soon as this election is over. Will Carney win? Who knows? But he's backtracked like crazy on all the Liberal parties. Whether people trust him or not will be the determination, because he certainly was he advised Trudeau for the last 5 years. And so the idiot king is gone, but is Carney any better? Nobody knows yet.
Well, let me get your take before we go, Kevin, on these tariffs. The president's reciprocal tariffs will kick in on Wednesday at midnight. What are you expecting? Obviously, markets are, hyper nervous about this, and we're seeing some companies unable to give us a real guidance for the 2025 calendar year because they don't know what it's going to cost them. How do you think this lands?
I take the positive view, Maria. I believe this is the beginning of a negotiation. 17 states in America, their largest trading partner is Canada. 75% of Canadian output is purchased by Americans. It would be stupid for these two countries to go to war together, not when they've been married for over 100 years. This is a tiff. It's a marriage, and they're having a little tiff. That's what I say. So as soon as this election's over, which is unfortunate for the Canadian people right now, the negotiations will begin. We should have no tariffs on the 49th parallel. It should be an open market, and the best companies win. That's combining the two economies to everybody's benefit. That would be a behemoth that China could never catch up with.
All right, we'll be watching. We'll see. You think it's all poker face. It's just poker face.
That's what I think.
Negotiation. All right.
That's what I think.
You could be right. We'll see. Kevin, great to see you, sir. Thank you.